So what do GM pickup trucks and a certain transgendered swimmer have in common? Well, in both cases, NBC News has taken liberties when it comes to telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Folks, check out this photo of Lia Thomas in this NBC News feed. Wow, Lia is really transgendering nicely, isn't he? Look at that creamy complexion, that soft, smooth skin. Is this dude using a certain dishwashing liquid, maybe?
Dishwashing liquid? It's Palmolive. Mild? More than mild. Makes heaps of suds that last. And like I said, Palmolive softens hands while you do the dishes. Madge, I'm cuckoo over Palmolive.
But here's the thing, folks. Lia's not using Palmolive or Oil of Olay or any number of lotions and potions designed to make skin silky smooth. Rather, that complexion is the result of NBC using Photoshop. Oh yeah, here, check out the actual photo that was submitted. Looks a little less feminine and a tad more masculine, wouldn't you say? Maybe because when it comes to gender, Lia Thomas is, well, I think Austin Powers put it best.
That ain't no woman. It's a man.
As the saying goes, the camera never lies, but NBC News, well, they sure do. Alas, a transgendered male to female athlete that looks quite manly doesn't quite fit into the narrative of the woke joke journalists in the mainstream media. You know, the idea that trans women are real women, even though real women are getting slaughtered in the pool by this grifter. So it is that the folks at NBC News took it upon themselves to transform the real photo of Lia into a fake photo of Lia. Hey, transgender, transformed, trans fats. It's all the same, right? Now, at time of taping, NBC had yet to apologize for the photo fakery, and I did reach out to the media relations department of NBC News with some questions, but nobody has gotten back to me so far. No surprise there, really. The mainstream media loves to intrude into the lives of individuals on the proviso that the public has the right to know. But when the tables are turned and when the MSM is taken to task, suddenly they retreat, they turtle, and they embrace no comment. But here's the thing, folks. If there is one news organization on the planet that should be super sensitive when it comes to faking it, it is surely NBC News. Let's dial back the clock to November 1992. The NBC News program Dateline thought they had a real juicy scoop on their hands. You see, there were reports of pickup trucks made by General Motors having a design flaw that resulted in those pickups exploding. NBC decided to put this to the test. Here's an excerpt of their now infamous report.
To see for ourselves what might happen in a side impact crash, Dateline NBC hired the Institute for Safety Analysis to conduct crash demonstrations. Unlike GM tests, the fuel tanks were filled with real gasoline. Look what happened. At impact, a small hole was punctured in the tank. According to our experts, the pressure of the collision and the crushing of the gas tank forced gasoline to spew from the gas cap. The fuel then erupted into flames when ignited by the impacting car's headlight.
Wow, that was dramatic, wasn't it? And quite frightening, too. What's more, would you buy a GM pickup truck knowing that if you ever got T-boned, your vehicle would, well, in the words of Billy Saul Hurek and Big Jim McBob.
Yeah. You remember how it ended? Yeah, everything at the end blowed up. Blowed up good. Blowed up real good. Yeah.
No, I'm sure you wouldn't buy a GM pickup truck that acted like a next-generation Ford Pinto upon impact. But alas and alack, there was just one teeny tiny little wee problem with NBC's report. Take it away, Romulan Senator Vrinek.
It's a fake.
That's right. That report was more fake than Pamela Anderson's bus line. You see, try as they might, NBC News could not get those GM pickup trucks to blow up when enduring a side impact. Thus, embracing the mantra of don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, NBC decided to, well, grease the wheels a bit to get those much sought after kaboom visuals, which is to say they secretly affix incendiary devices on those gas tanks. No, I swear to God, folks, those journalists had their henchmen put little bombs on those gas tanks to make those trucks blow up real good. Yeah, hard-hitting news suddenly morphed into paperback fiction. In fact, I would say the smear tactics NBC used to demonize GM 30 years ago might be the great-great-granddaddy of what we now refer to as fake news today. And the thing is, NBC News might have gone away with this scam if it were not for a fireman on the set who was so disgusted by the chicanery that he contacted GM and he spilled the beans. And the general quickly and justifiably proceeded with a major defamation lawsuit. That lawsuit would eventually be settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. But here's the subsequent mea culpa that aired courtesy of co-anchors Jane Pauley and Stone Phillips.
NBC's contractor did put incendiary devices under the trucks to ensure that there would be a fire if gasoline were released from the truck's gas tank.
We said the crash, quote, forced gasoline to spew from the fuel cap, end quote. GM says since the gas cap was the wrong cap for the GM filler tube, and because the gas tank was overfilled, the cap came off when the impact occurred.
We agree with GM that we should have told our viewers about these devices.
The Dateline reporter, however, said, quote, at impact, a small hole was punctured in the tank, unquote. GM has now x-rayed that tank and found no hole.
We acknowledge the placing of the incendiary devices under the truck was a bad idea from start to finish.
Oopsie. Oh, and Stoned Phillips also went on to say this, quote, we apologize to our viewers and to General Motors. We have also concluded that unscientific demonstrations should have no place in hard news stories at NBC. That's our new policy, end quote. Yeah, unscientific demonstrations should have no place in hard news stories at NBC, eh? That's the new policy, huh? Well, I guess that was then, and this is now, given the most recent tinkering scandal, this one involving Lia Thomas, in which NBC News gave Lia the digitized beauty parlor treatment to make a he look more like a she. By the way, when it comes to Photoshop chicanery, it should be noted that while the mainstream media will beautify its allies, it will go out of its way to digitally demonize its enemies. Case in point, remember this doctored footage courtesy of a Fox affiliate in Seattle? On the right is the actual image of Donald Trump. On the left is an altered and orange-fied image of the president with his tongue sticking out, kind of the way Justin Trudeau does when he dons blackface. Oh, well, at least the editor didn't go full Benjamin Grimm on Trump. Thankfully, that editor was justifiably given the boot. As for NBC News, well, it's still crickets regarding their falsification regarding their journalistic jabroniism. But why? Bottom line, as the old saying goes, folks, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And if NBC News reporters and others in the mainstream media ponder why it is that a growing number of people refer to their reportage as fake news, well, guys and gals and others, you need only look in the mirror. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, the Rebel News store doesn't have any trench coats, but I'll tell you what it does have: t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, caps, everything you could possibly ask for that loved one on your Christmas list. Please go to the Rebel News store and order your Rebel News merchandise today.